guys. So, I I've long known that this series, well, if we can even call it that, there were only 6 episodes, that the series was a thing. The Ren and Stimpy adult party cartoon, aka Ren and Stimpy The Lost Episodes. Now, the original Ren and Stimpy show I grew up watching, mostly. I mean, that was one of those cartoons I feel like kids watched despite their moms hating it. I, on the other hand, watched it because my mom liked it. And my little girly girl self probably wouldn't have been drawn to that on my own if it hadn't been for that. The whole thing was like gross out humor, was like mainly their shtick if you never saw Ren and Stimpy, but yeah, I grew up watching that. As odd of a show as it was, I feel like some of my brand of bizarro humor largely probably stemmed from growing up watching that. Was it my favorite cartoon? No, but I did enjoy it, and I would pretty much watch it if it were on. But anyway, so back in the days when I still used Tumblr, which is already years ago now, but back when that was still a thing, I remember seeing one of my friends post on there something that apparently was from this side series that I didn't at that point know was a thing yet. And it was of Ren with like a saw like strapped around his groin, and Stimpy bent over and he's like sawing it on his back, but it kind of looks rude, like, it looks like they yeah, especially with the facial expressions and the way they're moving. And I was like, when did that happen on Ren and Stimpy? I don't remember that. She's like, oh, this is from the Ren and Stimpy adult party cartoon. That was on Netflix a while back. And I'm like, wait, what? Say what now? So I googled this, and by this point it was no longer on Netflix, and I couldn't find this anywhere on the internet. Apparently it had a DVD release, but I'm cheap, so I didn't buy it or anything, because I didn't want to see it that bad. And I tried to track it down online, and no luck, so I kind of forgot about it for years and years and years. Until it dawned on me this morning, one of the cartoon sites that I use to find really obscure, especially retro older cartoons, it just dawned on me, I should search for that on there. And it was there. All the existing episodes were there. I was like, holy shit. I mean, granted, there's only 6, so I did cross-check it with Wikipedia to see were there more than 6? And no, there were only 6. 3 of them aired, 3 of them did not. All of them made it to the DVD release, so that's where those came from. There were more planned that never made it to fruition, but oh boy, I watched all 6 this morning, and it was an experience. I think I see why it got the axe so quickly. Just right off the bat, I mean, I feel like even in the original Ren and Stimpy, it was kind of implied that maybe Ren and Stimpy were a thing. Yeah, it's not just implied here. They are, like, an item in this, and there's, like, gay jokes through the entire thing because of it. But it's weird because Ren seems to be bi, because there's a whole episode where he's, like, chasing after women, whereas Stimpy's very jealous of them and has no interest in them, but he seems to like all the dudes. So, from what I can gather, Ren is bi, whereas Stimpy is just gay. Okay. Not an issue to me, but I could see where certain other individuals might have taken issue with this. So the first episode was called Onward and Upward. I have my laptop right here next to me, so I can read the synopses, because I am terrible at summing things up, and I also wanted to be able to reference the ones that didn't make it to fruition. Tired of living inside a homeless man's mouth, Ren and Stimpy move to classy new digs, the inside of a spittoon, after Stimpy pools his secret stash of money into it. Stimpy's secret pile of cash is $5, by the way. Just throwing that out there. I don't know why they were living in a homeless man's mouth. Are we supposed to forget that Stimpy's a cat and Ren is a chihuahua? How big is this homeless man's mouth? I just... What? Okay. What happened to... I thought they had their own place in the original series. Not to mention when they were living in, like, somebody else's houses, like, a mouse or cat, and the mouse... I guess, sorry, Clay. I guess that came to an end, and now they're living in a homeless man's mouth, and it is totally disgusting, but yeah, that. But, like, right off the bat, it just launches straight in with the gay jokes, and with Stimpy having needs, and I was like, oh god. Oh boy, this is already way awkward. But they move into this spittoon, and they feel like they have made it to the high life now, just because gold walls. And they're trying to be upper-class gentlemen now, even though... the gross-out the gross-out humor is so real in this one. I mean... There's snot jokes, there's vomit jokes, there's wet spots on the bed jokes, there's just... Oh god, it was so gross to where I was like, I don't remember the original series being quite this bad. I mean, I know it was gross out humor too, but it wasn't as extreme as it is in this one. But what really caught me off guard, and it felt weird that I, of all people, was taken aback by this, was just at the fact of hearing full-on, unadulterated swearing on Ren and Stimpy. Like, straight up the F word, no less. I was like... And they aired that one. Whoa! Whoa! Holy shit! I mean, again, I'm a little Miss Potty Mouth. That, it's not like it offended me, but it was enough for me to be like, what the hell? This is too weird. I don't know how I feel about this one. Yeah, that. And them making more gay jokes about, which one of them's gonna be the pitcher and which one of them's gonna be the catcher. And I was like, no, stop. We don't need to know all this. I mean, they can be gay, but we don't need... No, okay. Okay. And they can apparently show illustrations of everything in this version, which is weird because it did air on TV. It wasn't on Nickelodeon. I believe these aired on Spike TV, which is probably why they were able to get away with more, but at the same time I'm like, that was still on TV. Holy crap. I mean, they were depicting full frontal nudity of both genders throughout the series, but to be fair, I think the one with the nude beach was the first one that didn't get aired, so maybe that wasn't as much a thing as I'm thinking, but... The second episode was Ren Seeks Help. After Ren does something so horrible to Stimpy that it leaves Stimpy in hysterical grief and Ren in guilt, he realizes how cruel he can be to his beloved pal and tries to apologize to him, but Stimpy refuses to forgive him, so Ren goes to see a psychiatrist. After a depressing walk from places to places, he walks to the Help apartment and seeks psychiatric help from Dr. Horse, to whom he tells his dysfunctional early years and why he became such an abusive psychopath in the first place. Yeah, that's another thing that is really off-putting in this one. I mean, Ren was always a dick, but he's like straight up abusive in this one. And like delights in the fact. Now, some of the unaired ones that were canceled, didn't get finished, apparently were supposed to depict what happened that led up to this episode, but since it never got finished, we never get to know what exactly did Ren do to break Stimpy so badly this day. But oh my god, the flashback scenes to his childhood, he's so deranged! he's so deranged. I mean, we knew he was anyway, but this is like next level sick shit to where I was sitting here like, I'm kind of concerned for whoever came up with the ideas for this. Like, honestly, though. Especially his torturing of small defenseless animals. That poor frog that was left literally begging for death. Like, oh my god. Like, what the actual fuck? The third episode was called Fire Dogs 2. The fire chief was so impressed with Ren and Stimpy's heroic deeds from the first Fire Dogs cartoon that he mutates into Ralph Bakshi and moves in with them, and to also go out on a bachelor's life to eat pizza. However, Ren and Stimpy are disgusted by his habits. Yeah, I almost had to tap out on that one because it was so next level gross too. It depicted basically every possible bodily function at some point in this episode, and it's so gross. And the dude is so morbidly, obesely fat, and they make jokes about that too, and illustrate all the things that come along with being that big. Like him trying to figure out how exactly he's going to fuck being that big, and wants Stimpy to hold his belly fat out of the way so he can find his dick. Like, I am not making this up. This is actual shit in this episode, and this is one of the ones that aired. This is one of the ones that aired. I have no words. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. It's not even that late. It's like 9:30. What the hell? Feels way later. Okay. So the first of the ones that didn't actually air on TV but made it to the DVD is Naked Beach Frenzy. And literally the only synopsis is Ren and Stimpy enjoy a day at a nude beach. It goes about how you'd expect, except way raunchier. I was kind of like, wow, they really thought they were going to get away with airing that? What the fuck? What the fuck? I never needed the visual of Stimpy in a thong, by the way, but, we get to see Stimpy in a thong. Really did not need to ever see that, but what can you do? There is the fifth episode, Altruists. Ren Hoek, renowned lover of humanity, and his friend Stimpy decide that they must do everything in their power to help a couple of misfortunates, a woman and her handicapped, headless son, by building a house for them. And by burglaring literally the entire town to furnish said house. Yeah, excuse me again. It's another episode that is just all over the place with being offensive in just about every different direction you could think of, and I was like, what the hell? What the hell? And then the last one is called Stimpy's Pregnant. I'm like, oh no, they went the MPreg route. Oh god. Stimpy becomes pregnant with Ren's baby, causing Ren to at first abuse and then respect Stimpy as a partner. Ren is at first disgusted with Stimpy's pregnancy as he is forced to deal with his incessant loving moments with his child, such as attempting to explicitly eat for two. When Stimpy goes into labor, Ren is forced to start a drive-by with other people on the highway. With help from the police, Ren and Stimpy successfully get to the hospital, where their child is delivered by Dr. Horse, only to learn that Stimpy was just constipated. Although Dr. Horse does not have the heart to tell the anticipated parents this, and so the waste is made to behave like an infant male, and was named Little Ricky. Because the end joke was, they made the ending credits look like I Love Lucy, but it was like I Love Stimpy. So of course they did Little Ricky for the poop baby. It's literally a pile of poop that was sculpted to look like a baby, but it moves and it cries and it's so fucked up. Just, oh my god. And yet, part of me is torn because I kind of wish they'd made more episodes, but part of me is also kind of relieved that for how deranged these were, that there's not more to sit through. I'm on both sides of the line on this one at the same time. I don't even know how that works, but I am. And then, of the cancelled episodes, there was Life Sucks. Ren explains to Stimpy that life sucks, much to Stimpy's horror. After that, they have an extensive look at life's past tragedies, like the Children's Crusade. According to John Crickfalusi himself, this was meant to be a prequel episode to Ren Seeks Help. This is suggesting that this episode was the cause of Ren and Stimpy's argument, as it is never stated in Ren Seeks Help what Ren had exactly done. Production had begun on this episode with some voice work and roughly a third of the storyboard completed at the time of the show's cancellation. This episode was also written for Nickelodeon. The Big Switch, the supposed sequel to Ren Seeks Help. Apparently this is going to be an ongoing story arc. With it beginning with Stimpy no longer being able to tolerate Ren's abuse any longer, as the two argue over which is better, by being an idiot or a psychotic asshole. They finally settle the argument by making a bet that they can switch roles for a day. The episode's basic premise would somewhat be loosely made into the game's animation era episode Who's Stupid Now? Okay. Fishing trip. Ren and Stimpy go on a fishing trip in search of the elusive foul-mouthed bass. This episode's basic premise is loosely related to the Season 3 episode Bassmasters and the unproduced Spumco episode The Wilderness Adventure. The Wilderness Adventure. George LaCour takes Ren and Stimpy hunting in the deep woods. The episode was originally written for Nickelodeon, but was rejected several times. Michael Pataki was made to reprise his role as George LaCour. The storyboard for the rejected episode, however, were completed all the way back in the 90s, as far as before the show had actually started production, as one of the ideas would later be used in the Season 2 episode The Great Outdoors. Two small portions of some of the storyboards of this episode had some voice work, sound effects, and music completed and put into part of the episode before the show's cancellation. My Little Ass, a fake commercial that was supposed to be a parody of the series My Little Pony. The script for the commercial was written during when Crickfalusi was working on the new episodes for Spike, but it never came to fruition. Powdered Toast Man's Rolling Tobacco. A second fake commercial. The commercial was going to mark the return of Powdered Toast Man. Aw, that would have been fun. The idea for the commercial was conceived, but the commercial itself was never fully produced. Log for Moms, a third fake commercial. This commercial was going to be about a log specifically targeted to mothers. This commercial was planned, but it was never completed. The Succubus. The plot of this episode was going to be based on some of Crickfalusi's experiences with Robin Bird. Untitled Shampoo Master episode. The character named Shampoo Master first appeared in Naked Beach Frenzy, and Crickfalusi was planning on making an entire episode dedicated to him. Untitled Mike Barrier episode. An episode about Mike Barrier's own interests and fears that was planned to be made, though it never began production. And finally, Untitled Father episode. Another episode was going to be about the specific tastes and phobias of someone, this time being Crickfalusi's own father. The episode was left unfinished. So, those apparently were the plans that were future episodes that they had wanted to make for this and then didn't. But, might have been for the best. I'm very torn on this one. I can't even rate it. But I would say, yeah, if you're easily offended, do not watch this, ever. Even if you're hard to offend, I don't know that I can necessarily recommend this one. It's really out there. Which I suppose all Ren and Stimpy is really out there, but I mean, this is really, really out there even by Ren and Stimpy standards. Yeah, I was sitting there the whole time what the fuck am I doing watching this? Oh god, I think I need like a palate cleanser of something like squeaky clean and wholesome after that to watch and review, so. Anyways, that is it for this one, guys. You know what to do. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe, hit that notification bell icon so you never miss an upload, leave comments down below. Make sure you're following my social media accounts, my Facebook fan page, my Twitter, my Instagram, my Etsy, everything and more. It's all down below. If you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation link, as always, is down in the description. So, anyway, guys, till next time, bye-bye.